The Washington Capitals are kings of the Eastern Conference. The New Jersey Devils have officially punched their ticket into the postseason, and the teams in both conferences in the wildcard races are hanging on by the skin of their teeth. We'll get to all the updates coming up, and how this actually look like over the past couple of days of game action. We'll get to all that coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey Channel. Now before we begin this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys, so if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below. It really does help the channel, and we're on the road to 500 subscribers. And don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section below. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on all that was discussed here today. So in today's video, we've got another game recap video. We're looking at all the games that happened over on Wednesday and Thursday. We are officially 1 week away from the regular season ending. We're just that much closer to the playoffs, which means some teams have now clinched, and it's getting very, very unlikely for teams in the hunt in the wildcard races to catch the teams who are in there. So we get to all the game recaps from our past couple of days. So we saw 5 games happen over on Monday, 10 happen over on Thursday. So we'll get to all the game recaps from our past couple of days. So first, we saw a really heated battle between the two top teams in the Atlantic Division. That's the Bolts and the Leafs. The Leafs would blow a couple of leads, but recovered, and thanks to this goal here from Matthew Knies, his hat-trick game winner in overtime, the Toronto Maple Leafs will come away with a 4-3 overtime victory on all Sportsnet. But the Leafs have now won 5 of 6, improved to 48, 26, and 4, and extend their lead for top spot in the Atlantic. While the Bolts have lost 3 of 4, they still have a 3-game point streak, but fall to 45, 26, and 7. So it's a bad loss there from Tampa. For the Leafs, Knies, who had a hat trick, 3 goals, including the OT winner. Marner, who had a goal and 2 assists, and Matthews, who had 3 assists, all had 3-point nights for the Leafs in the win. While Bjorkstrand and Hedman both had a goal and an assist, Hagel had 2 assists, and Perbix also scored for the Bolts in the OT loss. So it was an intriguing game there and a chance for the Bolts to gain for the Atlantic title, but they wound up losing. Then we saw Philadelphia Flyers score 3 unanswered goals and came from behind to take down the Rangers 8-5, as the Flyers have won 4 of 5 and improved to 32, 37, and 9, while the Rangers have lost 3 straight, 5 of 7, fall 36, 35, and 7. And with the Rangers' loss, that officially clinched a playoff spot for the New Jersey Devils. So even though they're limping into the playoffs and have not been looking overly good, with that Rangers loss, the Devils are officially playoff bound. So really good stuff there for the Devils. For the Flyers, Verster, who had a hat trick, and Sealer, who had 3 assists, both had 3-point nights. Tippett, Couturier, Sanheim all had a goal and an assist. Brink, Paling, and Cage all had 2 assists, and Hathaway and Pelche both also scored for Flyers in the win, while Zibanejad had 4 assists, Vanakainen had 2 assists, and Trocheck, Kreider, Brodzinski, Panarin, and Miller were the 5 goal scorers for the Rangers in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but a big dent in the playoff hopes there for the Rangers. There's a Minnesota Wild score 4 straight, blew a 3-goal lead, but recovered and beat the San Jose Sharks 8-7 in overtime, as they have a point in 4 of 5, improved to 43, 29, 7, and thanks to the victory for the Wild, that has officially eliminated the Canucks and Utah Hockey Club from playoff contention. So with that win by the Minnesota Wild, there's no more Utah and Vancouver in the playoffs. So after a really good season last year, Vancouver has now fallen out of the playoffs, and in their first season in Utah, well, they did get close, Utah will miss. So interesting note there. Well, the Sharks have lost 7 straight and fall 20, 47, and 11. So not great stuff there for San Jose. For the Wild, Eriksson, who had a 4-goal game, and Boldy, who had 4 assists, both had 4-point nights. Kaprizov, who had 2 goals, including the OT winner, and an assist, and Zuccarello, who had 3 assists, both had 3-point nights. Foligno and Rossi both had 2 assists, and Faber and Johansson both also scored for the Wild in the win, while Celebrini had a 5-point night, hat-trick and 2 assists. Smith had a 4-point night, goal, 3 assists. Thompson and Logren both had 2 assists, and Grenstrom, Toffoli, and Kovalenko also scored for the Sharks in the overtime loss. So it was an intriguing game there. High-scoring affair, but the Wild come away with the victory. Then we saw the Anaheim Ducks overcome a 2-goal deficit and scored 3 unanswered to come from behind and beat the Flames 4-3 in overtime, as the Ducks improved to 35, 35, and 8. Big win there from Anaheim, while the Flames have a 4-game point streak, but they do take a little bit of a hit in their chase for a playoff spot as they fall 37, 27, and 14. For the Ducks, Gauthier scored twice, including the OT winner. Carlson had 2 assists, and Vetrano and Ziegler both also scored for Ducks in the win, while Backlund had a goal and an assist. Hanley had 2 assists, and Sharangovich and Coronado both also scored for the Flames in the overtime loss. It was an intriguing game there, but a very, very bad loss there from Calgary that puts it into their playoff chances. And then we saw the Edmonton Oilers blow a few leads, but scored a late game winner and held on to beat the St. Louis Blues 4-3, as they have won 4 of 6 and improved to 45, 28, and 5, while the Blues fall to 43, 30, and 7 on the year. That's an awful loss for the Blues as they lose ground in the playoff race. For the Oilers, McDavid had 3 assists, Brown scored twice, Nurse had 2 assists, and Arvidsson and Podkolzin both also scored for the Oilers in the win. Obliterated had a goal and 2 assists, had a 3-point night. Cairo had a goal and an assist, Thomas had 2 assists, and Suter also scored for the Blues in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but a really narrow victory for the Edmonton Oilers. Those were the 5 we thought over on Wednesday, going over to the 10 we thought over on Saturday. First, we saw Columbus Blue Jackets overcome a 2-goal deficit, storm back, and were able to take down the Buffalo Sabres 3-2. Thanks to this goal here in the third period from Boone Jenner and Alcashara Sportsnet, but Jenner was able to give them the victory as the Jackets improved to 36-33-9, while the Sabres had their 5-game win streak end and fall to 35-37-6. Just a bad loss there for Buffalo. For the Jackets, Zach Aston Reese, James Van Riemsdyk, and Jenner were the 3 goal scorers for Jackets in the win, while Dahlin had a goal and an assist, and Peterka also scored for Sabres in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but the Sabres win streak comes to an end. Then we saw the Florida Panthers score 4 unanswered goals and beat the Red Wings 4-1, as they improved to 46-29-4, keeping their hopes for top spots in the Atlantic Division alive, while the Red Wings fall 36-35-7, and that's an awful blow to their playoff chances. For the Panthers, Belinskas and Forsling both had 2 assists, Simuskevich, Marchand, who scored first as a Panther, Barkov and Rodriguez were 4 goal scorers, and Bobrovsky stopped 22 of 23 shots he faced in the win for the Panthers, while the Brinket was the 1 goal scorer for the Red Wings in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but an impressive victory by the Florida Panthers. Then we saw the Blackhawks score 4 unanswered goals and took down the Boston Bruins 5-2, as they improved to 23-46-10, while the Bruins have lost 12-14 and fall to 32-39-9. It's not looking good for Boston. There's a very likely chance they finish last in the East. For the Hawks, Foligno scored twice, Korchinski, Bertuzzi, and Donato also scored for the Blackhawks in the win, while Geeky and Pasternak both had goal and an assist for the Bruins in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but impressive victory there by the Blackhawks. Then we saw New York Rangers come out and just absolutely dummy the New York Islanders 9-2. They scored 4 first-period goals, including this goal here from Artemi Panarin and Alcashara Sportsnet, but that started out what would give them out to a 5-goal lead, and they absolutely smoked the Islanders, as the Rangers end their 3-game losing streak, improved to 37-35-7, and keep their slim playoff hopes alive, while the Islanders have lost 8 of 10, fall 34-33-11, and they now take a big hit for their playoff chances. For the Rangers, Panarin, who had 2 goals and an assist, and Parson, who had a goal, first as a Ranger and 2 assists, and Fox, who had 3 assists, all had 3-point nights. Berard scored twice, and Zibanejad, Cooley, Lafreniere, and Trocheck all had goal and an assist, with Miller and Carrick both adding 2 assists for the Rangers in the win, while Fasching and Seiplikov were 2 goal scorers for the Islanders in the loss. It was an intriguing game there between the 2 New York teams, but man, was this all New York Rangers in this one. Then we saw Washington Capitals score 4 unanswered goals and blew a 2-goal lead, but recovered and beat the Carolina Hurricanes 5-4 in a shootout, as they improved to 50-19-9, and with the victory, they have officially clinched the Eastern Conference. No team in the East can catch them. The East run through Washington. The Capitals are the best team in the Eastern Conference, while the Carolina Hurricanes have lost 4 straight and fall to 46-27-5. A bad stretch here for Carolina going into the playoffs. For the Capitals, Dubois, Strome, Dowd, and Wilson were 4 regulation goal scorers, and Dubois was the lone shield goal scorer for the Capitals in the win, while Jarvis had goal and an assist, Burns had 2 assists, and Stankov and Blake and Martinook also scored for the Hurricanes in a short loss. It was an intriguing game there. Canes at least got a point, but it was the Capitals who clinched the Eastern Conference. Then we saw Winnipeg Jets in a battle of behemoth, Jets and Stars, come away with a massive victory to get that much closer to clinching the Western Conference, as they shut out the Dallas Stars 4-0, as they have won 3 of 4 and improved to 54-21-4, while the Stars have lost 4 straight and fall 50-23-6 on the year. So it's a bad loss there from Dallas. For the Jets, Connor scored twice, Morrissey had 2 assists, Biron and Niederreiter both also scored, and Hellebuck stopped all 25 shots he faced in the shootout and victory for the Jets. So an impressive victory there for the Jets as they get closer to clinching the West. Then we saw Vancouver Canucks score the first and last 2 goals of the game, and even after being eliminated, they took down the Colorado Avalanche 4-1, as they won 3 of 4 and improved to 37-29-13, while the Avalanche fell 48-28-4 in the year. So it's a bad loss there for Colorado. For the Canucks, Joshua and Shearer both had goal and an assist. DeBrusk and Garland both also scored, and Lankinen stopped 31-32 shots he faced in the win for the Canucks, while Taves was lone goal scorer for the Avalanche in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but a nice 2 points there for the Canucks. Then we saw the Nashville Predators score 3 unanswered goals and were able to take down the Utah Hockey Club 4-3 in a shootout, as they improved to 29-42 and 8, dropping Utah, who has a point in 6 of 7, to 36-30-13. So Bad loss there from Utah. For the Predators, O'Reilly had goal and assist. Forsberg and Blankenberg both also scored in regulation, and Forsberg was the lone shield goal scorer for the Preds in the win, while Doan, Gunther, and Bukestad were the 3 goal scorers for Utah in the shield loss. It was an intriguing game there, but a nice victory there for the Nashville Predators. We saw Vegas Golden Knights open with a 2-goal lead thanks to this goal here from William Karlsson and Rock Chris Sportsnet, but the Knights were able to get out to a 2-goal lead. It was enough as they beat the Seattle Kraken 2-1, as they have a 4-game point streak and improved to 48, 22, and 9, getting closer to clinching the Pacific, while the Kraken fall 34, 40, and 6 on the year, so a bad loss there from Seattle. For the Knights, Barbashev and Karlsson were 2 goal scorers, and Hill stopped for 24, 25 shots he faced in the win for Vegas, while McCann was 1 goal scorer for Seattle in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but a nice victory there from Vegas. And then we saw the LA Kings come out and obliterated the Anaheim Ducks 6-1, as the Kings have won 5 of 6, improved to 45, 24, 9, and close in on home ice advantage in the first round, while the Ducks fall 35, 36, and 8 on the year. So an intriguing game there in the Battle of California. For the Kings, Kuzmenko and Kempe both had 3 assists, Fiala scored twice, Byfield and Kopitar both had goal and an assist, Anderson had 2 assists, Spence and LaFerriere both also scored, and Kemper stopped 24 of 25 shots he faced in the win for the Kings, while Gauthier was the only goal scorer for the Ducks in the loss. It was an intriguing game there, but a big 2 points there from the Kings that gets them closer to home ice advantage in the first round. So those are all the games we saw from our past couple of days. Lots of intriguing ones. Now going over to see how it affected the standings as it sits right now. So at this current point in time in the Eastern Conference, 10 teams have hit the 80-point plateau, including 6 teams who have hit the 90-point plateau, and 2 teams, that's the Caps and the Maple Leafs, who have hit triple digits. The Caps are 109 points and have clinched the conference, while the Leafs at 100 points and do have a playoff berth. Then you have the 97-point Hurricanes, the 97-point Bolts, 96-point Panthers, and the 90-point first wildcard Ottawa Senators, who are all also at 90 points and have all clinched playoff berth. Then you have the New Jersey Devils, who are 3rd in the Metro at 89 points, have also clinched a playoff berth. And then you have the 87-point Montreal Canadiens, who are in the 2nd wildcard position. They're the only Eastern Conference team at this point who has not clinched a playoff berth. After them, you have the 81-point Jackets, who are 6 points back with 4 games left. You have the 81-point Rangers, who are 6 points back with 3 games left. You have the 79-point Red Wings, who are 8 points back with 4 games left, and you have the 79-point New York Islanders, who are 8 points back with 4 games left. So it's looking really bleak. The only team who may have an outside shot is the Blue Jackets, but for the Rangers, Red Wings, Islanders, they would have to win out and hope that the Canadiens do not gain another point. So interesting note there. Meanwhile, if we go over to the Western Conference, 8 teams have hit the 90-point plateau, including 4 teams. That's the Jets, the Stars, the Knights, and the Avalanche have all hit triple digits. The Jets are at 112 points, the Stars are at 106 points, the Knights are 105 points, and the Avalanche are at 100 points. After them, you have the 99-point Kings. Those teams have all clinched playoff berth. Then you have the 95-point Oilers, the 93-point Wild in the first wildcard position, and the 93-point Blues in the second wildcard position, who have not yet clinched playoff berth, but are on the precipice of it. And then at this point in time, the only team left in the hunt for a playoff slot is the Flames. They're 5 points back of the Blues and the Wild. They have a game in hand on the Wild and 2 games in hand on the Blues. So if they win those 2 games, there might be an outside shot for Calgary, but it's looking less and less likely they're going to make it. So interesting out there. So that's all we're going to talk about for today. We'll love to hear your guys' thoughts on all that was discussed here today. Anything that jump out to you in the games, and any surprise at any team's placements in the standings. Definitely love to hear your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to talk for today. Remember to like this video. If you're returning, subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. And don't forget to comment down in the comment section below. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on all those discussed here today. Also a blog, different news, rumors, analysis. If that's, check that out. I'll link to that down in the description below. And can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.